welcome to MandoBug Crafts, episode 50! Whee! Hey, what's up? I'm MandoBug, and I would like to thank new and returning viewers for spending some time out of your day with me. And why don't we go ahead and show you guys something I've learned. Show you guys. I usually say start out with something I've learned, huh? Whatever. Yeah, so something I've learned. It's been about 2 weeks since I recorded. Sorry you guys, just been distracted. Can't blame me with my ever-growing belly. But what I learned was if you forget to put a ruler in your notions bag and you're out knitting in public somewhere and you don't have access to a ruler and you need one, but you have access to a notebook full of paper that is college ruled or even wide ruled works. I had a notebook that was college ruled with me, and I needed a ruler, and, oh, my blinds. Well, anyways, no, you probably can't see, but on this paper, I have written down that, the distance between the blue lines on the ruled paper, because it's ruled for you. It's not the traditional measurements of most rulers, but it works. So on college ruled paper, or it's also known as medium ruled, there's a distance of 7.1 millimeters between each blue line. So you can just kind of fill in your own ruler. And it's also 11/32 of an inch. My pattern the pattern I was measuring from had the millimeters and inches converted on the pattern. So I went with the millimeters because it was easier to do the math for on the paper. So I used paper as my ruler. So if you are in a pinch and you don't have a ruler and you don't want to eyeball it, but you do have access to paper, then you could probably Google, because I'm not going to memorize the distance, you could just Google the distance between the lines and use that as your ruler. So yeah, that's what I learned this week. Moving on to works in progress. So I have a lot of projects that I've started and been working on off and on, but really I've just kind of been working on two most recently. So one of them is this. Ooh, it's fluff. This came off my drum carder. So I think I told you guys at my last episode that I was waiting for my Fancy Kitty drum carder and bench picker to come in, and Josh went ahead and let me get them, like open them and play with them early, because with the baby on the way we figured that I wouldn't have much time to play with them. So he goes, go ahead, play with them now, get it out of your system before she comes and you have to wait. So this is blended Jacob. So I had a Jacob fleece that I washed, and then I sent it through the picker, and then I combed it to get all the short bits out and some veg matter, and then I dissed it off my combs, and I could have spun it straight from the roving, but I wanted to play with my carder. So I just ran it through the carder just for funsies. Just for funsies. And you can see it's very thick and fluffy. So this is what I have left. Overall the bat was about 2 ounces, and you can see I've torn off a strip here. That's how I spin from bats, is I just tear strips off. And this is about half of the 2 ounce bat that I made. The rest of it is on this bobbin. So look at that spotlight. I'm spinning it about a single for a 3-ply worsted weight. I'm going to chain ply it on itself. And I know it looks pretty thin, and it's also very fluffy, but that's just it. Like, it's probably be hard to show you guys, but as you spin it, it looks thin, but when you let go, it gets fluff. So I think this is going to be one of those spins where after I chain ply it and give it a bath, kind of thwack it a bit, let it hang up to dry, I have a feeling it's going to go woo. So I'm not worried about it being too thin, but it's really nice to spin. Now this, when I processed this Jacob fleece, I didn't scour it for as long as I did with the BFL fleeces that I scoured, because I thought I took too much lanolin out of them. They felt very dry. I did not take enough lanolin out of this. It's not sticky. It doesn't stick together, but as I'm spinning with it, my hands get a little oily. So I would have preferred to take more out. If the finished product is too oily for my liking, I might try to scour the yarn. I don't know if you can do that. I don't even know if that's recommended, but I might try. Depending. It honestly depends on how it turns out, so we'll see. The only other thing I've really been working on is processing more fleece. So, because of course my tools came in, I got excited. So, I sent a lot of fiber through my bench picker, which I will talk about later, but I think I showed you guys my my bag of white Jacob. So I went through my Jacob fleece and I split the brownish black sections from the white sections. And so this is all my white. I already sent through the picker, so it's all flicked open. And oh my goodness, this whole bag's worth, which you see is a lot. This only took an hour and a half to flick through with my picker. I have a before and after picture I can show you. I'll go ahead and insert it here. And then this is the black, all picked open. And so I started combing through it. Now there were some pieces that got, like, I couldn't separate the white from the black, and that's what became this gray, is I just kind of, the pieces that kind of had already, like, started catching together from the washing process, I put them in a separate pile, and they got blended together on the combs, and that's what makes this gray, is where I couldn't separate the black from the white. So it's, I've been calling it my blended Jacob. So, and, oh, it's sitting right here. This is what it looks like. And that is flicked pieces that, or well, sent through the picker. So, that's my blended. And there's not a lot. I did pretty well separating the white from the dark. So I've been taking that flicked white Jacob and dizzing it off of my combs, my hand combs. So I hand comb it back and forth a couple times to get all the nasty short pieces out and the veg matter and the dirt and whatever may be left behind, because washing just doesn't get it all out. It just doesn't. So I'm trying to open it, my disrobing, because I kind of just roll it on itself. So there you go. This is like a piece of disrobing that I get off my combs after I've combed the fiber. So, and you can spin straight from that. This is what I did with the blended Jacob that I sent through on the drum carder and turned it into a big fluffy bag. But I've got a bunch of these little guys, a bag's worth, over here that I've been working on, but I had to take a break. You can see them in there. I had to take a break because I started hurting my hands because I was doing too much and my hands have been swollen, so I had to stop. But so yeah, I've been using these two-tiered, so they're 2 tiers. There's 2 rows of nails in these hand cutters that are hand combs that I got from Paradise Fibers. They've been working awesome. And then I've been using spice caps for dizzes, and I think I lost one of mine. I think I left it at Lindsay's, but then I had this one, and this one's annoying because it's thick. And so, like, if you want to be nice and flush up against the fiber when you diz, like, then now you're like sticking your hand in this hole, or, you know, if you do it the other way, then you can't get flush against the fiber, and then there's this thing. So I treated myself. The Clay Sheep has a store on Etsy where she sells a bunch of different clay items, and one of them that caught my eye was her dizzes. And so I went ahead and asked for a custom order because she only had pink ones up in the shop, and she was super awesome and accommodating for my custom order. So of course I ordered myself a black and orange diz, and of course my lighting's funky, but oh well, you get the picture. You get spotlights in some spots. So there's a hole in the middle, and then it might be hard for you to see, but there's also 3 smaller holes along the side if you wanted to diz like a skinnier roving. And then there's a chain that attaches this nice little like slip hook, which is made out of like a thick plastic, so it's not going to break. And so you can just stick it right through the hole, thread your fiber, and pull it through. And she makes two different kinds. She makes a flat one and a concave one. I got the concave, so you can see it curves. And I've never used a diz this shape before, so I thought, you know what, that's what I want. I want to play with that. It seems like it would grab more fiber and pull it in to one spot better at this shape. So I haven't used it yet, so I can't speak for it, but it came in, and as soon as I feel like combing with my swollen hands again, then I will. Also, what's pretty cool is this chain. If you didn't want this dangling while you were using it, it comes off. So while you use it, you can use it just to thread, set it to the side, diz, 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 and now I'm done, but I don't want to lose the threader, and you can clip it right back through the hole. So I thought that was really awesome, and it also came with a cute little stitch marker. So yeah, that's all I got for works in progress. Moving on to finished objects. I have finished a lot of objects since I recorded. It's been a while. So let's see, the first ones I'll show you are my Spatterdash wrist warmers, and they should have been done a while ago, but there was quite a bit of finishing that needed to be done with them. So there was, like, for what I chose to do with them, there was a lot of sewing at the end. So here they are. Here are my Spatterdash wrist warmers. So these are a free pattern that you can find on Ravelry, but it takes you back to Knitty, so it's a free Knitty pattern. But here we go. So these buttons I made myself. So this is my first time trying to make buttons. I just used some polymer clay, and to get the black ring around it, I rolled like those long snakes, and then I rolled a really like thin black, like as thin as I could get the black, and I rolled the snake around that, and then when I cut it to get the buttons, there was that thin black ring around the button. So it was a lot of fun to make. I wish I would have made them smaller because there are so many, and you can see that they're very close together. They're very large, and they almost take away from the pattern more than I would like. But it was my first time making buttons, so whatever. I'm happy with them. I love them, and these are a great fit. So I knit the mediums out of Penguin Soup Fairy Sock, and this is in her patchwork colorway that was inspired by Sally. It's part of the Nightmare Before Christmas yarn club that she's doing, and I'm pretty sure her yarn club's the yarn's not available until a little while after the club ends, so if you like it, you'll have to wait. But they do sparkle, which is very exciting. And so originally the pattern is made so that you can unbutton the buttons and it opens a flap, and it kind of is like a flat piece, but I didn't want to have to fiddle with wrapping them every time that I put them on, so I just sewed them shut. So you can see on this one, on the inside, I sewed right here. I sewed the inside down to make the tube, and then I also sewed the flap down, and I did that when I sewed the buttons in. So the buttons are not functionally buttons, although you could have left them to be that way. The buttonholes were too small for the size buttons I made, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sew it all shut. But having it sewn shut gives these a great fit. I'm absolutely happy with the fit, and I feel like because they wrap too close, the fitting is adjustable if you do decide to sew it like I did. You can kind of sew it to the width of your hand, but like I've also mentioned in a previous episode, these have a lot of shaping in them for gloves, so it's nice. I want to wear them, but I don't want them to be distracting from other things I might show off, so I'll take them off. But I do really love these wrist warmers. I love the yarn, the penguin soup yarn, which I'm glad I have leftovers so I can make more things with it. I love the pattern, and I love the handmade buttons. I also finished the Sally's Tower Slippers by Sarah Stevens. Now this was a pattern that came with a kit that I ordered. So this is her yarn. It's a DK, they're superwash DK, and it was just called Sally. And the kit came with this pattern. So, okay, so here's the first slipper I made. And then I'll show you the smaller one next to it is the second slipper I made. So can you see, if I put the heels to heels, one slipper is definitely not the same size as the other. There's two reasons for that. So this small slipper had a tighter gauge when I knit it because I had knit it quite a bit later than this one. The other reason is the heel. So, so this one does have a tighter gauge, but as you can see, the heel is a lot shorter on this one, the second one that I knit, versus the first one, and that is because of the pattern. So I forgot after I knit this one that I kind of fudged the numbers. My numbers weren't adding up, and so it said to repeat 2 rows 10 times, or for a total of 10 times, and so you end up doing 20 rows, but the stitch count's off. And if you would have done it for a total of 10 times instead of 20, the stitch number would be right on. So this one, I did it a total of 10 times. And then there's also an issue with some knit two togethers that it says to do way too many. And that didn't work, so I just kind of fudged it. But on this one, I only repeated 5 times instead of 10, and I cut the knit two togethers pretty much in half. And so this one actually fits way better. So you do kind of get a point at the heel, but because this one is such a snugger fit, the point sticks at the top of your heel instead of like this one where it's at the middle of your heel. And so this one doesn't fall, like, doesn't create a point that's as drastic as you wear it, but this one does. So I've been meaning to write Sarah and let her know what I ran into with the pattern, because I don't think anyone else has knit this yet. But other than that, I still really like the pattern. Just figuring out which way it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be this way, but I do plan on writing her and asking her and finding out, because this is a paid for pattern. But they're done, and I'm probably going to make another one that fits closer to this than this, because I have plenty of yarn. And speaking of this yarn, after I finished the slipper, I went ahead and cast on this little hat. So cute! This is the Simple Striped Baby Hat by A La Sasha. And this is a free pattern, and it was striped in the original version, but since this is variegated yarn, I just knit it plain. And there's 2 tops. You can have a regular decreased top or this little knotted top, and I thought the knotted top was cute and it would be easier to just kind of boink off the head. So I made this in the newborn size, and this will probably be going to the hospital with me because it's just so cute. Look at that little knot top. And then also I finished the Sarah's Story shawl. So this was a knit along that I was participating in, and I finished on time, which is super exciting. So this shawl, if I can show it to you in its all glory, is a knit by bit design. This is a paid for pattern, and the yarn is by Eternity Ranch. So maybe I can hold it like this. And this is absolutely gorgeous. I do have to say I ran out of yarn at the end. Can you see that? I had some kind of matching gray in stash, so I pulled it out and finished it off, and I was like, meh, close enough. But I thought that I would enjoy this better than had I just not completed the final repeats. But you can see how close I was. I was very close to the end, which leads me to believe I might have done too many increases in the middle. But, oh well, I mean, it is what it is. For a 1 skein shawl, you know, it can fit around your shoulders nicely. For a very short, like, shawlette, or you can turn it around and scarf it up. I absolutely love these colors. They're really, really pretty together, and it's not something I would normally choose to put together, but it works. So I'm very happy with this shawl. It was a nice knit. It was knit sideways, and it's pretty simple. It just has this one lace area where you really have to pay attention, but other than that, there is a lot of stockinette in it as well. So, Sarah's Story shawl. And I also finished some spinning this stuff. Ooh, this is so nice. So this is 2 ounces of, right here. Oh, my blinds just aren't going to cooperate today. This is Euphoric Fibers. And I didn't think this had a colorway, but then after I opened it, it says Panda? But this doesn't look like a panda colorway, so I'm wondering if that was hidden on purpose, but maybe there's an orange panda somewhere. Or maybe it's a red panda, but those are like a really dark brown orange. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Or it can just be a mystery. But this fiber is a 60-30-10 merino bamboo nylon superwash. Woo, superwash. I didn't know that. That's good news. Because here's the other one, and it's on the bobbin, and you're like, I thought this was finished. It is finished. So I don't know what I was thinking when I started spinning this, and I was like, wonder what this would be like as a worsted weight. So I started spinning at worsted weight, and then like halfway through it I was like, that was really dumb. What was I thinking? And then I realized a single for a 3-ply worsted is about a light fingering weight, and that's when I decided, you know what, no. So I'm not going to 3-ply this and make it a worsted weight. I am going to keep it as a single ply, which I have never done with my spinning before. It's scary. It is scary. So if my blinds cooperate, if you look up close, we'll just have spotlights, I guess. You know, it's all single, and it's got overspun spots where it's like kind of crinkly. So I'm hoping the longer this sits before I work with it, the more tame it will be. But I don't know. And that's why this is still on the bobbin. So this is the other 2 ounces. It's all done and spun, but I want it to sit for a little while. I'm going to leave it on the bobbin for a couple days, and then I'm going to leave it on the Nitty Knotty for a couple days, wash it, put it back on the Nitty Knotty while it's wet to keep it tight, let it dry on there, and then see what happens. So that's what I did with this one, and it's not too crinkled up on itself. Not sure if what I did helped, but I think so. So I do know the yardage for this 2 ounces, since it's been on and off the Nitty Knotty. This is 231 yards. So this should be something similar. So for a total of like 450, 460 yards of a single ply light fingering weight. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping I don't regret this decision, but I don't think I will. I don't think I will. So moving on to check it out. So I was talking to you guys earlier about all of the bench picking that I did. So for Check It Out this week, I went ahead and put together a little video of my Fancy Kitty bench picker, and I will insert that video here. So here's a quick view of my Fancy Kitty bench picker, and right now I'm holding the handle, but on the inside you can see there's some nails right along here in the middle. This is the end that you would feed the wool up through. It comes up here and runs along the nails. This is what the nails for the top piece look like. One thing that's nice about the picker is it's adjustable by these screws. You can adjust the distance between the nails to give you a rougher pick or a more delicate pick, depending on what you're looking for with your fiber. Because if it's too rough, you could damage your fiber. So I'm taking the mixed Jacob fleece and just kind of feeding it up underneath here, just a little bit at a time, because the less you put in at a time, the better it works. Just so that it pokes up over the top here. And you can see there's already some fleece on the needles. And then moving this back and forth just kind of pulls the fleece through and works it through the picker. And it pulls it from up underneath there and just drags it across the nails. So then this is what you get after about one pass through. And it can be sent through again. Also, you can see after the one pass through on that little bit of fiber, there is dirt in here that has been picked out as the locks have been opened as it makes its way through the machine. One way that I like to clean it out is I take just a cheap craft paintbrush, and this one fits very well in between the needles. And I can just sweep in between the nails and get all that dirt out. So now I'm going to send the fiber back through again. And this is 2 passes through. So you can see some of it's open, some of it's not. The bigger the locks, the easier they open. The smaller the locks, the better the chance that they're not going to open. And I've been combing through this after it's been flicked anyway, so it removes all the second cuts and veg matter, because the picker's not meant to do that. It's just meant to open up the locks for you. You can see how much dirtier the bottom of this picker is after flicking open the BFL locks. Even though this fleece was washed and scoured, sometimes it's hard to get the dirt out of the tip ends of BFL because it's such a crimpy lock. And here is some colored BFL after its first pass through the picker. And again, the bigger the locks, the easier and more willing they are to get open, from my experience. The smaller the locks, the harder time they have opening, but they'll probably get combed out. Okay, so that takes us to current events. So I know at the end of that video you saw some of those dyed locks that I was flicking open on the picker. That's not the only dyeing I did. I finally got around to dyeing the giveaway prize. So I've been hosting, if you didn't know, I've been hosting a Craft with Your Hand Spun Along in the MandoBug Crafts group on Ravelry. And it closed out at the end of November, and I'm late recording, so I'm sorry we're not doing the drawing until right now, but we're still doing it. So for the winner, you get to choose one of these braids that I dyed up. So these braids are 50/50 merino tencel, and I dyed them trying to go for a, well, there's no use in wrapping it all up, right? I tried to go for like a winter themed colorway. So here is the one that I'm calling Snow Night, and it's just got white, gray, some turquoise, and some darker blue in it. But I wanted to keep a lot of white because the focus was snow. So this is one braid. And I had about 8.2 ounces, and I don't think they were split evenly in half, but you will be getting at least 4 ounces. I think one braid's 4.1 and one's 4.2 or 3, but I don't remember which is which. So this is Snow Night. And I'm really happy with how the dye turned out, and the way the fiber still stayed in very good condition. So this should be a treat to spin. So hopefully you win it. Well, if you want this one. So this one's Snow Night, and then the other one I'm calling Snow Day. And this one is definitely very white. So snow during the day. So this one's mostly white with just some turquoise and some gray. But the gray is a lot softer, and there's no dark blue. So those are your two options. And again, I'm super happy with how they dyed up and how they turned out, so should be a good prize. There is a spot on one of the braids. Maybe it's on Snow Night. It's a very small spot where when the fiber was drying, it touched some BFL locks, and it's a little pink there. But it's not anything to super worry about because okay, here we go. Can you see? Oh, there it is. The tiniest little spot, and this is on Snow Day. So, I didn't pick it out, although when you go to spin it, if you come across it, you can just pick it out. Or you can leave it in. It's up to you. Whoops. Made a little mistake. But, so yeah, those are the two braids. And you can choose one. And then also, the winner gets to choose what kind of project bag they want made out of these fabrics. So it's a glittery tree fabric, and the complementing fabric is a white polka dot. And you get to choose from a box bag style, or a zippered wedge style, with box bottom of course, or a drawstring bag style. So whatever you prefer, you can just let me know. So why don't we do the drawing for that? There were 10 entries, and I put all the names in here. See? So we'll go ahead and draw for the winner. So the winner of the Craft with Your Hand Spun Along is... Oh, there's two. One's gotta go back. Oh, can you read that? Soul Stitches. So, Soul Stitches, go ahead and send me a message on Ravelry letting me know which braid you would like. Would you like Snow Night? Or Snow Day? And then what style of bag would you like me to make for you? But yeah, you know what? I'm going to steal her photo from the finished objects thread and insert it into the video so you guys can see what it was. I'm pretty sure she made some fingerless mitts out of hand spun that were super cute. So I'll go ahead and insert that picture here. But yeah, aren't those super cute? So congratulations. And there were a lot of really cool hand spun projects in the prize thread. I can't pick a favorite, but I did like a lot of them. There were a lot of really cool fingerless mitts and regular mittens and shawls and cowls, and there was a really cute little like bag that was like had a monster face on it, kind of like a little pumpkin. So, oh, and there was a werewolf. So that was a lot of fun. So now that's over. I'm not hosting any other craft alongs right now, and I don't plan to for a while because of the little one on the way. So sorry if you're looking forward to that. They will start up again in the future, but I don't know when. So also for current events, I'm still participating in the 2014 Sampler Mystery Knit-Along by Marie Segueres, and this was a paid-for mystery knit-along that started in January 2014, so at the very beginning of this year, and it runs through the end of this month. And so the final clue has come out, and the idea is that you get 2 squares a month for the entire year that are supposed to build your knitting skills, and at the end of the year you'll have a blanket. So I am working on the last square. If you are participating and you don't want to see, you'll probably want to skip ahead at least 5 minutes because I'm going to show a couple different squares. But I highly doubt that any of you guys are participating. There's not a lot of us working on this, so. So this is the last square that I've started. Is that the wrong side? Nope, that's the right side. And we've been working on cables. So this is the last square, and I'm just about a third of the way through it. But unfortunately for me, this is not my last square of the blanket. I found out early on that with 2 skeins of each color, I could get 6 squares a row instead of 5 squares, and so I'm making the blanket bigger than intended, so I have to repeat about 11 or 12 squares, and I still have to do those after this one. So after I finish this one, gotta hurry up and repeat 12 squares and then seam together by the end of this year. I think I can do it depending on when Emily comes. So, but I have been catching up. I haven't shared a few with you guys, so here's one of the cable squares. Another one. I always think of Slytherin when I see this square because the cable is like a snake and it's knit in green. Some more cable patterns. More cables. And this one's got some yarn over stuff in it. And more cables. And then that takes me back to, I think this is the last one I showed you guys. So where I'm sitting at now is like 2/3 of the way through the rainbow. So I started with the red at the beginning of the year, and I've made it through green, and I'm starting blue, and that's my last clue. And then I have to repeat the blues, and then add the purples, and then sew it together, so I'll have a nice rainbow baby blanket knit for Emily. So that's all I got for current events. So upcoming events, really nothing except for the baby. So speaking of her, I'm 37 weeks today, which is really exciting because for the longest time that's what was considered to be term. So you would be considered term 37 to 42 weeks, I believe. After 42 weeks is late, and before 37 weeks is preemie. But no, I'm 37 weeks today. They've kind of changed that. A lot of places won't consider you term until you're 39 weeks. But generally at 37 weeks, if you do go into labor, there are minimal risks that you wouldn't already have at 38 or 39. I think they moved term to 39 weeks to kind of discourage people getting scheduled C-sections earlier than 39 weeks. But I'll show you my belly. It's huge. Oh, you guys probably saw it in the bench picking video because I recorded that this morning. But yeah, my belly's getting huge. She is, oh my goodness, taking up all the room. She's leaving nothing for me, and she's dropping. Like, she is down there. So I had a doctor's appointment a couple days ago, and he went ahead and did an ultrasound, and her crown at the top of her head was right at the bottom. And I've been having some stronger Braxton Hicks contractions, and there have been other signs that I won't share with you guys that she's coming soon. So she will probably be here within the next week or two, which it will be early, but I'm not worried. I'm sure that if she's coming, she's ready. So it's very exciting, but it's keeping me very distracted. It's pretty much all I can think about, and I'm really just trying to get the house ready for her. So I probably won't record again until after she comes, but I will try to keep you guys updated in the Ravelry group, so so you don't have to worry or anything. But yeah, after she comes, I'll probably do a short update just to let you guys know that I'm doing okay. And then after that, I probably won't be recording more than like once a month, because I think I'm really just going to need time to recover and relax and take care of my baby. So until next time, guys, I will chat with you later. I hope you guys made something awesome, and I hope you guys have a good week. Bye!